And a very warm welcome to everybody. Welcome back to Ayers Rock. Ayers Rock Airport, that is. And no, that is not the airplane that we're going to be flying. We will be flying the A2A Simulations Aerostar 600, just as we've been doing before. We just got all of our flight planning paperwork out of the FBO here, and just walking over to the aircraft now. We're going on the longest flight I've ever done in this aircraft, and that is from here at Ayers Rock on up to Broome. I hope I'm pronouncing that properly. Broome, like is Yankee Bravo Romeo Mike. So little on the warm side, even though this is considered a high altitude desert airport. Here we are. Isn't she a beauty? She is to me. Anyway, we'll as soon as we pre-flight the airplane real quick, we're gonna gas it up here in just a second, because if everything works the same, we should have roughly about 50% fuel remaining, and we haven't touched the fuel quantity since we left Adelaide. So, yeah, the airplane is absolutely filthy. Look at that. And we'll look at the engine intake here in just a second, because those are equally dirty. So, and there's Ayers Rock right over there. Pretty cool sight. What we're going to do is take off, fly over to Ayers Rock, do a low altitude orbit around it, and then climb up to 8,500. And you may be wondering, well, in the previous flight from William Creek up to Ayers Rock, you went all the way up to 10,000 feet, and you're right, I did. However, I looked at the en route weather, and there is a thermal layer at about 9,000, so we don't want to get above that. So our best operating altitude for this 600 nautical mile flight is 8,500 feet. You need to come over here. Whoa, sorry about that. Come over here, and let's go ahead and top it off. Should be able to see it here. I'll bring up the tablet, and we can put the fuel in. And we want full fuel. There we go. And with regard to payload, it's just me. So, no passengers. And let's see, the center of gravity, because of the gas, is a little aft. So, you gotta keep that in mind as we take off and get into our climb. So, put the gas cap back on, latch it, and so anyway, about that, as for that walk around, everything looks good. If you want, we can move the ailerons up and down, make sure that they work good. Of course, that was the see if we can see the fuel. Oh yeah. Full on the wings. And if I did not mention it before, it is 86 degrees. So we are going to have a little bit of a longer takeoff roll than normal. Yep, visual full tank. Let's look at those. Yeah, the lights, both sides lights are good. Leading edge of the wings. I looked at the other one already. It's good. Tail, everything in the tail looked good. Yeah, the engine intake, air intake, that is, a little dirty. Yeah, it is a little a little dirty. But anyway, the the cabin is going to be absolutely steaming hot. You can probably see the everything caked in here as well. We're going to be looking at our power management a little closer. We don't need our CHE cylinder head temp on both Lycomings going up and above 240 degrees. That would not be a good thing. Let's go ahead and open up and hop in. Leave the door open for a bit. Let's see, is it 86? 80, yep, 86. Alright. Just a quick scan of the panel. Off, off, off. Everybody down here is off. Off on the mags. Make sure. Fuel. Everybody's off. Okay, very good. Very, very good. Let's look at our whiskey compass. And what do we have? 110. Alright. Not too far off. In fact, I think it was at 11. Yeah. No drift. That is a first. For me, that's a big first. Now the altimeter, there's gotta be a change. 2956. Alright. Need to zoom in as much as I can. Those little tiny hash marks are a little difficult to see. 295. Okay, that should be about. Right about there. That's good. 2956. We're good to go. Parking brake is on, which is what you want. Alright. We'll make sure these are all the way forward. Crack these open. The throttle says. If you don't, then the unique way of starting these engines, well, they're simply not going to start if you leave them at idle. Especially if you haven't operated the aircraft in a good while. So let's do this, even though it's gonna get really hot. Oops, sorry, wrong. I forgot. I gotta go up here. You gotta grab an invisible something, and then that comes up. All right. Let's go ahead and open up the vents on both sides. and we will be on the way. All right. And don't worry, the flight is highly condensed. After we take a quick trip around Ayers Rock, we'll go up to 8,500, at which point we'll take out the main part of the flight, and in other words, cutting out the majority of it. So it's kind of like going to sleep on a airliner and waking up just about 10 minutes before arrival. So highly condensed flight, because this is the longest, as I said, the longest flight I've ever done in the Aerostar. So it'll be two and a half hours for me. Flight time for you, it'll be probably 20 to 21 minutes of watch time for you. All right, battery, nav beacon. For the startup and all that, I do realize that a lot of people here are big A2A Aerostar fans, so I'm just gonna be quiet, which everybody will enjoy that. In particular, me. Gonna be nice and quiet, and you can hear all the sounds of, like, the fuel, like that, the fuel selector sound and everything else. So I'm gonna be quiet, and you can enjoy the sounds of the engines while I get everything up and going. All right, and then we'll talk a little bit when we when we taxi out to runway I believe it's runway 21 or 31. It's yeah, runway 12. I'm sorry. So without further ado, here we go. Stand by, everybody. Abu! Abu! My dog, everybody. One moment. Sorry about that. Sorry. Something spooked him. So here we go. Alright, we're going to be going up to the hold short bars here in just a minute. We'll do a quick run up, and if both engines are good, then like I said, we'll depart, head over to Ayers Rock, do one low altitude orbit, and then get on course to Broome International. The reason that destination should be beautiful is because it's right on the water, on the I guess you could say the northwest coast. I'm sorry, yeah, the northwest. If you want to say west, a northwestern, in a way, northwestern-ish part of Australia. And according to the research that we've done, there is a good chance of kangaroos to the west of the airport, not too far away. So we'll be looking out for roos, as they say. And should be a good flight. So it looks like the pavement, I don't know if this is intentional or not. Interesting. The pavement naturally ends. Alright, we could do one at a time, but I notice that if I do that if I go right, in other words, if I use the mouse and I go right engine up and then back to idle, left engine up, back to idle, my key binding with my my physical quadrant here goes away. So we're just gonna take both engines up to 2200 and 2000 RPM, and then we'll check things out there. All right. Alright. Kind of thought that might happen since we're not on concrete or asphalt. The brakes are just not going to hold. Not one bit. So, let's go over. Yeah, I know this isn't technical, let alone me, but I'm going to go over to the turnaround end of the runway here to the left, and we'll do our run up there. And don't worry, we're not on VATSIM, and no, I do not have live traffic enabled because it still has a long way to go with regard to fidelity. So we're gonna move over here, taxi over here. The brakes should work. Technically, the coefficient of slip should, the physics of the coefficient of drag should work with regard to rubber on a concrete runway, or maybe I'm sorry, this looks more like asphalt. But anyway, should be able to do a run up here, and then we'll be underway. Alright. Parking brakes on. And run up. There we go. We're not going to move here. 2,000 RPM. Okay, the right is about 50 higher than the left. So we'll do the right engine first. Okay, left mag only. Good. Both. Right only. Good. Back to both. Left. Left mag only. Whoa, that's a big drop. Back to both. Let's see if the right mag gives us a more stable. No. About one. Well, what do you think? About 100 RPM better, roughly. Back to both. All right. Those engines 90 degrees in here. Good grief. Okay. We need to move. Okay, bring those back. A checklist for takeoff is complete. So, here we go. Ayers Rock and then Broome, here we come. Yeah, if you do just a little bit of differential braking, this thing turns on a dime. Especially with that electric steering and the nose gear. Alright. Alright, here we go. Right about there. Brakes off. Rotates on its own. Gotta love it. Okay. Get the trim out of the way. Meaning get the one to climb really high out of the way. Okay, gear up. Flaps up. Alright, on the way. on the way to... That's just an amazing sight to see when you think about it. Okay, we'll do a clockwise orbit. That ought to work pretty good for the flight plan up to Broome. Again, I really hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. BROOME. Let's see if that 90 degrees is gone. 84. What are you gonna do? I got everything open, so everything is on here. It's a windy day. I mean, that was a 16 knot crosswind right across the runway. So, all right, let's go low a little bit. Let's see the cylinder temps. Are they looking all right? Yeah. Everybody's good. Okay. Boy, this thing wants to climb, even though it's so heavy with the amount of gases on board. Better view if we put the booster chair in the left seat. Way back when I took flying lessons, I sat on many pillows. Flight instructor, both of them, always got a kick out of that. Let's come back on the thrust a bit. Yeah. Here we go. Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. here we are in the climb. As you can see, it's definitely a hot day. The airplane, it really doesn't want to go any more than 1,000 feet per minute, which is fine. We have plenty of gas. So, as I said, as soon as we get up to 8,500, we'll level off, see what that's like. I mean, we can go all the way to 10, but the headwind is simply going to be a little too high up there, and it'll just make things go a lot slower. Let's see if we can get the just a little more out of that. A little more climb performance, maybe just a wee bit. On a day like this, you can lean the engine, meaning the mixture, but you really want to wait until you get to your cruise, because it comes down to temperature and pressure, and just a good idea to do that. In other words, we have to manage our temperatures with the airspeed alone. So if we do get too slow, then the really hot, almost 40 degrees Celsius centigrade Australian heat, the engines will begin to cook themselves in a way. So we're just going to let it do its thing. Let's see, ground speed is only 127. And the other nice thing for you who are watching, the moment we begin, like I said, just a couple minutes before we descend, that'll be where you pick back up. The landscape will be very, very different. This red desert will be long gone, and like I said, we're going to be looking for kangaroos once we get down there. We'll fly nice and slow to the west of the airport, and supposedly that's where Microsoft has spawned them, so to speak. And so let's just see if we can see them. I mean, this is the perfect aircraft to do that, since we have such a nice big window and we're not obstructed by a wing or an engine. Great field of view all the way around, really, when you think of it. These clouds, that tells me it's going to be a bumpy ride on the way up. On the way up to Yankee Bravo Romeo Link. We'll stop recording video here in just a little bit. I figure that some of you die-hard aviation enthusiasts, especially those of you that are die-hard A2A simulation enthusiasts, flight would like to see just how the aircraft settles at, 8,005. Let's roll that back down here. Let's see what it's like. I mean, look at that weather report one more time. 8,005. Let me do one more calculation. Let's just do it right here for now at 9. Let me redo one little calculation. Divide this and then the other. Alright, we need to go back down to 8,500. Why is that? Because of the rules and I'll get it, I'll say it eventually. Because of the regulations here in Australia are a little different. And I'll explain why here in just a second. But we need to get back down to 8,500 feet. Then we'll begin to mix and match the 58 degrees. I gotta figure the same things quiet. There we go. Wow, 90 to 58. That happened all quick. Alright, let's get down to ATT1. And let's drop that nose. The reason we're doing this, you may be wondering why. The reason we're doing it is, well, let me get down to 8,500 and then I'll let you know. I'll let you know the reasoning. Australia, it does have a very different regulation set of regulations than those of us in most other countries, and we want to respect those regs. Here we go, 8,500, almost there. Here we are. Alright. So, what's the story? Let's lean these engines back here just a wee bit. You don't need to be drinking that much gas. Alright, very quickly, and then we'll look at the engine performance one more time before we say toodaloo. We'll see you in Broome. The reasoning is, in Australia, VFR cruising is a bit different because you have to follow the semicircular rule, which means since you're flying on a westbound track, which we are, you had to fly at a even, which I knew that already, to 8,000. But you gotta add 500 feet. So if you're flying at 4,000, you need to be at 4,500. If you're at 6, you need to be at 6,500. 8, you need to be at 8,500. Why is that? You're technically camping, if you will. Well, camping is one word, is one way to say it. Camping in the middle of an IFR airway, which is a great way to have a very close encounter of the third kind with a Qantas 717 or something like that. So you gotta be in between those even thousands in our case. So that is why you gotta do it. And if I'm not mistaken, they close the airspace at night. Let me look up something for all of you, and then we'll say adieu for just a moment. I thought they did. Well, I know they do over in Sydney and Melbourne because I've been there. Between, let me look up something real quick. I am so positive that they would do that because we had to wait. Yeah, I am right. Yeah, it shuts down at night due to a lopsided curfew situation. It has to do with Sydney and Melbourne. Okay. Well, yeah. Alright. So it doesn't really... Alright. It doesn't have any big effect for where we are in Australia. But I'll bring up the tablet. Let's look at what the wind is doing. Pushing us... Well, it's not. So we have a quartering tailwind. So tailwind right now effective about 1 knot. Okay. Alright. Let's just look at what our cruise situation should be. 24 on the manifold pressure. Yeah, that isn't going to happen. I mean, I've got the throttles all the way to the wall, and we're not going to get 2400 out of that. Just not going to happen. Well, between 2000... Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't catch that. And land until the UGT peaks. Let's go through the actual... Everything is basically as desired. Verify off. We don't need the fuel boost pumps on. I hate doing that because we're in the middle of nowhere. But I guess we don't need them. Alright. Do away with the tablet. And let's look at those engines. Let's look at those engines a little closer. Let's see if we can get a better view of those engines. No? Alright, I'll just do it this way. Okay, the props, RPMs are good. Let's see if we can bring it back just a wee bit more on the fuel flow. I mean, 224 knots, that's impressive to me. Alright, let's bring those mixtures back a little more. Just a little more. Just a wee bit. I mean, I've got them way, way back. Let's see how far back I've got them. Look at that. That's pretty impressive. So we're only burning about 13 gallons per side per hour. That's impressive. I'm just really impressed. Let's see what the yeah, it's allowing us to look around. There we are. $60. Yeah, that's a bit nippy. Oh, push this in. Call it a lever, and I believe those of you in the UK as well as Australia, these are known as punkalures. Correct me if I'm wrong. Hydraulic pressure is jumpy for some odd reason. On the auxiliary pump. Back off. Alright. Well, let's get back into my seat. We'll be managing the cabin temperature. And I'm really surprised that the turbulence isn't that bad flying through these clouds, because the temperature difference is pretty significant. What do we got out there? 59, 58, somewhere in that area. 58, 59 degrees Fahrenheit, 18 on the centigrade scale. So, one last look around the airplane, then you guys will wake up just a few minutes out of Broome. Alright, let's look at our ETE real quick, and then you all can take a everybody watching you can take a virtual nap, or I should say, virtual closing of the eyelids. And when you open, you will magically be hundreds of nautical miles away from where you are right now. Let's look at our basics here. We got 587 nautical to go, and it's going to take us approximately 2 hours and 42 minutes to get there. So that is where we're at, and like I said, thank you for, I'll put it this way, thank you for watching this much of it, but hang around for a couple of seconds and you'll wake up in the area just southeast of Broome, looking for kangaroos is what we're going to do. Alright, see you then. And just like that, all of you are very close to the destination. You can see the ocean up ahead. As for me, it's been a long flight looking at desert. So that's what we're that's the only thing that I've been looking at. There's a little bit of green here and there. You have to look really hard. But what we're gonna do is turn off the autopilot and fly just to the west of the airport, and I'm sorry, to the east of the airport. That is where the kangaroos might be spotted. In fact, let me just double check that report. Double check this right back here. Should begin to get green. Let's see. So, southeast. All right, we're gonna give it a try just to see what happens. Southeast. That's kind of in our arrival zone here, so we're gonna do that. And just let me go ahead and turn it off. Like I said, turn this off. Bring power back here. Pardon me, it does a very good job. It being this aircraft, it does a very good job at holding altitudes and being a very easy airplane to fly by hand. It's very easy to do. It is by far the easiest aircraft to fly in Sim 2024. It's not even close. And the reason that is, it handles like a real airplane. The Accu-Sim 2.0 physics is definitely functional, real I should say. bring back the mixture. We don't need to be doing 20 gallons per side. That is simply ridiculous. Don't want to overspeed the airplane. Then again, this isn't, with regard to speed, this isn't the best airplane to look at. I'm sorry, the best aircraft to look out from, in order to look at look out for animals and whatnot. It's a little too fast. That's on me, looking at the VSI as well as out the window for a herd of kangaroos, because they are a herding animal, or so I've been told. As you can see, we burned a considerable amount of fuel in the left and the right wing. Fuselage tank started at 45 gallons and now we're down to about 31. Alright. Looking for kangaroos. At the side of the bay. Beginning to overspeed just a little bit. This is where they said, I say they, I mean Microsoft. They said it would be here on this side of the bay. Roebuck Bay is the name of this specific body of water. Let's slow it down. Now that we're leveling off, we can slow it down a little easier. Green, but still very arid. So, must not be their rainy season, is my only guess. Yeah, I honestly don't know how close the kangaroos would be to the ocean. The beach, I have no idea. All I know is I researched it and they said in FlightSim 2024, this is a great spot to see kangaroos. And I said, okay, well, we'll take a look. Even though we're going fast, I just don't see any movement down there, to be honest. I mean, we're pretty close to the ground. I mean, we're only 350 feet above the ground, so, and I don't see any movement of any kind. I can see brush, I can see trees. See if we can get this aircraft to slow up just a little bit. So I've seen kangaroos not in their natural environment. always seem to be hanging out together. And so I said, I don't know if you call it a herd or what. Hang on a second or something. See if I can get this thing to go any slower. This is ridiculous. Okay, let's go flaps. See, the only way to slow this thing down is to give us flaps. Let's do flaps 10. Let's see what that gives us here. Just enough to get those big Lycomings, meaning our engines. A little bit of kind of helps to slow them down. Okay, now this looks like kangaroo heaven to me right here. Out in the open, they're not around trees. Feel free to post something down below saying, hey, they like trees in the middle of the day. I don't know. But we are definitely trying here. Definitely trying. And again, no autopilot at all. It's very, very easy to fly. One hand on the stick and, in this case, yoke. One hand on the yoke. Piece of cake. Okay, a little low. That's what we want. Low, slow, looking for. I mean, to trim the airplane out to have 0 VSI is so easy. It just does it. Little bit of back pressure. Let's see. When I was a kid, watching the Discovery Channel, or was it Animal Kingdom? I don't know, one or the other. All I'm doing is adjusting the pitch of the prop there. Alright. Yeah, I'm not seeing any kangaroos, unfortunately. Well, I tried. I really did. I tried. Alright, how far away are we? 14 miles from the airport. Alright. Yeah, we're gonna be landing on runway 28. Heading mode and back to the regular navigation, so to speak. Alright. Maybe they're not daytime animals. Maybe they're more nocturnal. Who knows? Alright, well, apologies. We gave it a good try. Alright, everyone. Minor glitch, and back at it. Airport, just 2R11 flying. We should see a runway momentarily. I'm just looking at the ADF. There it is. It's a very gusty day. I just rechecked the weather, and the weather is showing it's really hot, really bumpy. So no guarantees on smooth landing. Sorry. Just all I can say is welcome to operating in very hot conditions. 89 degrees up here. It's 90 down there. 76 inside. That's only because we came down from 8,500 and we opened up all the vents. Let's see here. Before we land, just wanted to check out the shore to see how well they modeled it. And we're going over a landing here in a second. But let's just see what the airplane feels like with regard to landing. Get the gear down as well. Very, very bumpy. Alright, let's just see how it goes. If I feel something isn't quite right. Yeah, the airplane just wants to be all over the air. See that? That is very, very unusual. Because this aircraft is so solid. So very, very, very solid. So we're on speed. As you can see, the indicated airspeed. The needle is kind of all over the place, which is to be expected. I'll give it a little more juice. And yes, I realize that the Aussie lights are showing that we're coming in too deep, and that is on purpose. One thing I'm not going to do is idle the engines before touchdown, which is land with a low power setting, not idling. And that airspeed, yeah, it just begins to drop like a brick. And and that's on me. I didn't realize the airspeed was going to bleed off that much, but bad landing. Sorry. Really, really hot. And very, very windy. I didn't expect the airspeed to bleed off that fast, because in reality it would not, especially when I had the power setting up to 50%. Very, very strange behavior. But okay, let's get it cleaned up a little bit. Flaps up. Flaps up. And what I'm gonna do, let's try, well, for me, I want to try and do better than that. So let me do a quick takeoff and landing. Let's just see it. In other words, I feel like I need to redeem myself. That was, yeah, it's hot, windy, but let me show you, because I watched enough videos of other people who well, they end up doing a worse job than that, and I'm going to show you what I believe is happening with really hot air and when it's gusting. Let's just take a look at the windsock. If you look over there at that FBO, now that to me looks, 15 knots somewhere in there. Let's look at the 10. Okay, well, I was out by 5. Let's just do that one more time real quick. And obviously feel free to end the video right here. Or I might do a separate video of a takeoff and a landing just for my own ego. Let's do this one more time. That landing just really bugs me when that happens, because up until now this aircraft has operated very, very well. Alright. We're not on the bat zone, and we don't have any live traffic that is being injected into the sim. So let's just come out here. Don't think we need to do a run up. We're just gonna fly the pattern real quick. See if I can do a better landing real quick here. Alright. What is the temperature in? Yeah, 87. Yep. Yes, sir. And the wind. Sometimes you just can't win. Even that's weird. Landing light. Alright. Sometimes you can only do what you can do. So let's hold the brakes, get the engines up to take off. Take off, power. Brakes off. Here we go. Maybe wondering, what kind of an egotistical person is this? No, just, I know I can do better. Yeah, winds are gusting, and of course the tablet doesn't tell you what it's gusting at. Just see, positive rate, gear up. Flaps, I'm going to leave it at 20 degrees because we don't need to fly super fast, so we'll go ahead and do, give us a good view of the beach again. No, huh? Look at that. No wave action. That's interesting. I thought that there would be waves. Anyway. Alright, let's settle out right about here. 1002, 1003, somewhere in that regime. Bring power back here. Let's do a downwind. Let's do the downwind. Always remember, you want to set the heading bug to the heading of the runway that you're operating off of. And it just makes life easier. You know when you're going to be, in this case, if you're just doing pattern work, upwind, crosswind, downwind, base, final, you just know that you're going to be pretty much parallel with the runway. Are we? Yep, we are. Going too fast, so we will slow it up. Slow it up. Slow it up big time. Because it's going to go really fast, even though we got 20 degrees flaps out. Bring it back even more. Checklist. All the lights good. Fuel pumps on. Blower, that's fine. Alright. Looking alright. Does it give you the winds? I did not mean to do that. Does it give you the winds of... I really didn't mean to do that. Does it give me the wind? Just curious. When I say it doesn't give you the wind, I meant gusting winds. Yeah, this thing just does not like to slow down, which is fine. That is the Aerostar's job, is to not slow down. Alright. I don't know what's up with the clock. All of a sudden it's different. Huh. It's almost like the clock is a bit of an issue. 7:55 a.m. local. Alright, now we're slowing down, which is what we should be doing. Those RPMs up here. Alright, now where are we in relation to the airport here? Okay. Base to final. Whoa. That's bumpy. Get the landing gear down. Alright. This is the just want to see if I can stick a landing. So all of you can say, hey, he knows how to land a plane properly. Like I better be able to land it properly. I've been doing this long enough. So you bring in the flaps. I should say up. There we go. Here comes more juice. I'm going to show you what I learned how to do 30 years ago in a Piper Tomahawk, and that is because in central Indiana in the summertime it can get very, very hot, 90 plus degrees, not unusual. I would not idle the engine until I was on the ground and I figured out, hey, I can land it more smoothly. It doesn't drop like a brick. So we're going to leave power in and then I'll idle it once we get on the ground. So yeah, it's just the wind is making it a bumpy ride. bank the throttles just a wee bit. Alright. This time we're going to come in a little lower, even though we were low on the first time. It's a beautiful approach. It really is. Alright, bring those engines back a little bit more. Okay. Complete off about 10 knots, which is what we want to do. A little more. Yeah, the rudder already is touchy. Alright. I know. Last winter, well, the wind was pushing me a little bit. And my rudders, I need to get a new pair. They can be very, very touchy. Alright, there we go. I'll take that one. I'll take it. I will take it. Alright. Welcome to Broome. Hopefully the flight was interesting for you. Again, for those of you that like the desert, you missed a lot. For those of you who don't like the desert, you didn't miss anything. Okay, let's stop it there. Landing lights. And strobes off. Alright. Fuel pump boost. Those don't need to be on. And I believe there's the quasi AI ground crew are probably going to pop up just to our 1 o'clock, now 12 o'clock, because I see the electric tow bar. Yep, there they are. That's what I figured. Okay. Alright. As soon as we park it, I'll explain something that is a little bit important. There we go. Alright. Parking brake is set. There is a myriad of ways to shut the aircraft down. So here we could just flip the mags off, or we could just turn off the pull the mixtures off. There we go. Alright, beacon lights off. Off. And fuel selector as well as the mags off. You always want to shut the aircraft down with the prop levers all the way forward. ADF. is no longer needed. Off, off, off. And what else we got going? The fan, lower. That's odd. I wonder why those. I thought I had those open. I know I had those open. Anyway, alright, off, off, off. And avionics. Turn out the alternators, even though in essence they're not doing anything at the moment. Master avionics off, autopilot is off. Nav 1, fine. Auto trim, we leave that on, that is fine. Just do one more sweep of the panel. Good, 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 good. Good, good, good. Good, 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 good. And nav off. All right. Okay. Let's debrief while we tie it down. How's that? Well, here we are. Like I said, welcome. I hope you got something out of it. And a lot of people like the scenery. A lot of you who are die-hard GA people love this aircraft just as much as I do. I think it is the best GA aircraft in the sim, and it just doesn't come close to anything else. The Accu-Sim 2.0, that is just magic, for lack of a better word. Okay, chocks in place. And here we are. Ayers Rock, all the way up here to Broome. It's a little over 600 miles. But this airplane can do it. Hi there. Anyway, again, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got something out of it. Hope you enjoy the aircraft as much as I do. The Aerostar 600 by A2A Simulations. A2A, you guys are great, as always. But with this one, you guys knocked it out of the park. And we're going to be flying this aircraft a lot more, because we're going to begin to do South America next. We'll come back to Australia, but South America, the weather and whatnot, where we're going to be going is going to be even more unique, because hardly anybody on YouTube or any other social media does a lot of South America flying. And we're going to begin to do that effective next week if everything goes according to plan. So, if you like the video, smash that thumbs up button down there. Please click subscribe. Our first target is 500 subscribers. We would love to have 500 subscribers, and at the rate we're going, it's going to take a while, but with your help we can make it happen. And again, as always, thank you for watching. And as always, take care, fly safe, frequency change approved. See ya.